TS drops The Life of a Showgirl, sells 2.7 million copies in a day, breaks every streaming record imaginable, and somehow that's a flop. If this is failure, I'd like to underachieve like professionally on that level. But here's the twist, right? This isn't the industry turning on her, it's the fans. Everywhere you look, threads full of Swifties, former Swifties, saying, sounds like AI wrote this, people ranking her errors like disappointed shareholders, and TikToks comparing her lyrics to like ChatGPT, right? Critics call it like shallow, fans say it's mid. Taylor says nothing much, which might be the most strategic move of all. Well, she said one thing, she's like, if you talk about it, good or bad, if you hate on me, you still talk about me, so you're still doing me a favor. Paraphrasing. Right now, we are watching a billionaire artist test whether boredom can still break the internet. Saudi Cup, and welcome to another episode here for the Fandom Mindful Media and Taylor Swift. I mean, we have to talk about it. Dropped the album a week ago. It's been everywhere. Gazillion of UGC out there, user-generated content talking about Taylor Swift. So, of course, I cannot avoid it. And the most interesting part about the whole Taylor Swift thing, and I am really not a Swiftie, is the public meltdown. I'm really not surprised. I'm really fascinated by it. That's the right word. Like, I mean, let's start with actually romantic, right? The song everyone's citing in this case. It's the symbolic punching bag in this case. Everyone's hitting it, and right, which is understandable by looking at the lyrics, because what you see right now in fans saying is like, this cannot be the same woman who wrote like All Too Well, for example. This is how is the same person writing those lyrics right now, right? And the the total whiplash, like upbeat disco aesthetics, hollow lyrics, camp on purposes, defenses, like what has happened to all the Swifties, and why is she pissing them off on purpose, is the question. So when fandom starts writing academic essays to explain your mediocrity, you officially reached myth status, and I have to applaud, but I also have to wonder why. So I'm torn, right? TLDR, I'm torn. Like, hey, what the hell is happening? But also, well played. Well played. So this leaves me, sitting here for the past week thinking, hey, okay, let's do the Taylor Swift episode, and then just think about, wow, does she piss off everybody on purpose, or was it an accident? Has she lost it? Has she given up? Doesn't she want to do it anymore? And so on. So that's really something that is really hard to answer, because, again, fans right now saying it's too happy, it's too fake, and if there's like no blood on the floor, it's no art, basically, right? And I mean, it's not that the album is like terribly bad. It's just undramatic, and it's for fandom like hers, it might feel like treason, right? And it just doesn't sound like a Taylor Swift album. It sounds like any other pop album that anyone could have written, and then maybe using Suno to actually create it. And the thing is also that Taylor, she built like this, we talked about this on the podcast before, like she built like this parasocial, you remember that, right? Parasocial, meaning like you have a strong connection to a celebrity, even though they don't really know you, but you feel like you're really part of her life and really know them. So she has this parasocial empire, letting us in on her feelings, on her developments, on her relationships, everything, right? And this feels like taken away, and all this happiness, and I like touching the wood and stuff. just feels like off-brand. This happy-go-lucky girl feels very much off-brand. And because she built that parasocial empire on heartbreak, basically. And I mean, from a Taylor point of view, like, you give the internet like a stable relationship and they panic like you deleted their favorite trauma that they can relate to. The thing is, right, fans, people, audiences, they're addicted to like something that we call catharsis, right? The German struggles with TH and the R's again. Catharsis, how the German would say it. Catharsis. You know what I mean. Being like reborn, overcoming struggles, right? That's what we relate to. And Taylor just released a album. There's nothing in there. Nothing cathartic. Got the word in there, right? So that's I think a big problem for the fans. And now one has to wonder what I said earlier. Is it on purpose? Is it an accident? And I think there's some strategy behind it. So that's why I would call the talking point right now the art of the strategic flop, because I think there's more to it than we actually think and like to admit. Why? Because in the attention economy, perfection eventually becomes static noise because everything is so perfect, everything is the same. So you have to mess up to be recognizable, to get a connection, a relation. Yeah, every headline, every TikTok, every bracelet, I did my homework, every breakup, she maxed out the algorithm's dopamine budget, okay? She connected through all of it. What's next there to connect on? Well, we've done the heartbreak, we've done the friendship, we've done everything. What else can we use for connection? So now pulling back, disappointing people, disappointing fans, breaking the pattern kind of equals what we would call in storytelling a narrative reboot. Because you're expecting more of the same, but there's nowhere else to go. So what do? You break it so that you can fix it again. So maybe that breaking, and now I sound like one of the Swifties having like this, I figure it all out. She ate some very orange mango the other day and it was October 13th and it actually means, no, but I'm saying sometimes you have to break something on purpose so that you can bring it back together again and make it better and maybe even different, okay? And the algorithm as well as the users, us, the audience, we love redemption arcs. Coming back from being called dead and no one cares about you anymore, no one wants to hear from you anymore. People love that. People love it, the algorithm loves it. But before you can come back, what do you need? Cancellation. You need a dip. If there's no dip, you can't come back. And she did it before. So she's definitely sure she can do it again. Am I a Swiftie? Actually, romantic right now is becoming a meme. Engagement skyrockets. In a different way than usual, but hey, mission accomplished. Everyone's talking about it. It's not failure in a failure sense of way. It's traffic engineering. It still works. And it works. It's supposed to work. In a way, it's supposed to work. They compare it to like a brand that does like a limited drop of something. It's controlled scarcity, right? We understand it, why this happens. She's doing the same thing with approval. And she controls when we hate and when we clap. So I think she's testing if she still can command culture when she's not giving the culture us what the culture we want. That's something I would say in class. Right? So one more time, I think She's testing if she can still have that much impact on culture, on us, even, or via not giving us what we want, and then see, hey, they still do what I want, even though I don't give them what they want. It's a game, and we're just playing in it. As always, I'm bringing you some theory too, to just show that I'm not just making it up. Well, of course I'm not just like that. We have our man, right, Baudrillard. Remember him? What he said? Hyperreality. He said it's hard to say what's right, what's wrong. Even so, we know it's not all real what we see. If we see it often enough and we take it as like a baseline for our reality, because we don't know any better, it becomes our reality. Okay, so she simulates her failure to look like actual failure, even though she triggers it. She planned it. She architected it, right? She planned that failure. So it's hyper reality, like creating this fake reality, and we're using this fake reality as our baseline, as our narrative baseline to go from there. It's hyper reality with a Grammy. Oh my God, Baudrillard would be so happy. We also talked about Bourdieu before, remember? He says, if you refuse mass taste approval, then you will gain prestige. Now, I'm not sure if it really happens here, because just because you suck doesn't mean you are more authentic, doesn't mean you get more prestige. This would mean every indie film would be very prestigious, which is not true. Some indie movies are that don't get mass attention. Some still suck. Just because no one watches you doesn't mean that you're authentic and prestigious. Same thing goes for lyrics. You can be bad on purpose, sure. Doesn't mean you should be prestigious or you should be labeled super authentic just because you suck. Just saying. But there is a theory out there that suggests don't go for mass approval. Might lead to more prestige, but then you still need to show some kind of quality. Just sucking on purpose might not be enough. Okay, unless you are maybe a fun horror franchise or something like that. We also have a theory by Banet-Weiser that suggests you get rebirth through humiliation. That's how he called it, okay? So he says, we look at, like, in this case, the fallen goddess arc, and this might sell better than what he calls in the theory, divine consistency. Meaning you can't always be awesome. What I said in the intro, if you're always awesome to the highest levels, then there's nothing to build on. You're at the top already. What else do you add? So you have to fall from grace to rebuild yourself. Okay. We also have a theory by Banet-Weiser, and I think we didn't talk about this on the podcast. We talk about this in class a lot. That when authenticity becomes an aesthetic, it can lead to burnout eventually. It's like, oh my God, you're so authentic all the time. I'm so connected to you all the time. I can't take this anymore. Right? This is then the burnout sincerity, maybe. So the connection is just too much of it. You're like, as an artist, I've given you so much. As a fan, I consumed so much of it. It's really enough. I'm done with it now. Damn it. And even so you would expect more of the same, you probably wouldn't be able to take much more of the same. And so that's when you also hit the reset button. Okay. And to not go too hardcore lecture style today, so to make sure that Taylor also sees it. Last one, the OG, Marshall McLuhan. The medium is a message. We talked about this plenty of times here on the podcast. In this case, her silence, she came out with like, talk about me, you're doing me a favor. But her detachment from the fan connection, in this case, and the rollout of the album itself, like all the Easter eggs, the clues, everything else besides the music is a bigger masterpiece than the music itself. That makes sense. So the medium is the message. The medium, in this case different mediums, playing a way bigger impact on the life of a showgirl rather than only the tracks themselves. Because as we know by now, this the medium is the message. So Taylor is basically doing what academia does. Perform exhaustion while monetizing it. I was so happy that I can use that I can add this phrase to this podcast because hey, checking if colleagues are listening. But okay, back to Taylor, right? She's basically writing her own cultural studies thesis in real time right now. And all of us, we are like the peer reviewers, okay? So I think that's something that we could be looking into because we are all giving feedback on it. Right now, all the feedback is pretty similar to a reviewer too, who's always criticizing everything you do. Okay, let's go to some evidence though, because I'm not just making stuff up, obviously. I noted some down, okay? So Pitchfork says, okay, it's hilarious actually, like, because they know, or we know that mid-reviews get rage traffic, but in this case, the mid-reviews actually hit the fans. Like usually they do mid-reviews to get rage traffic, like, what the hell are you talking about? It's awesome. But this time it's actually like, yeah, it kind of sucks. It's very funny. The Guardian calls it a little too pleased with itself, and I think that hits the nail on the head. Not a big Guardian fan usually, but I mean, if you listen to the lyrics, you're like, come on. That's like a 16-year-old chuckling at himself or having like a funny punchline. Of course, fans still dissect all the lyrics like it's sacred text. Like, is Showgirl actually secretly about like this parasocial burnout, as I explained earlier? Like, I can't give any more. I can't have any more connections. Or are we just reading too much into it? Yeah, billion TikToks out there cutting between like disco visuals and this old heartbreak lyrics, asking, where's the pain, Taylor? Where's the pain? Well, the pain's with you listening to this kind of music. There's the pain. There is the pain. Do you feel it? She's still giving you pain, just your own pain in this case. Everybody, all the Swifties want her trying in a field again and now struggle with maybe too much self-awareness. But, and this is not the first time that this happens, right? And now I'm giving you some examples from back in the day. David Bowie, he used to be a big pop star, if you don't know. Bowie killed Ziggy, right? If you don't know what it means, Google this right now. I'm educating you, okay? Madonna tanked with erotica back then, and then became like a completely different kind of mythical pop culture icon. Beyonce flips genres and also had her critics hating on her for a while. And do I even need to mention Kanye? Right? So every big pop culture icon goes through something like that. Now the question is, will we see the rebirth? And how will we see it? How will we witness it? Because again, every pop culture icon learns that reinvention looks like failure in real time, but then you're coming out of it. So that coming out of it, out of your own constructed, purposefully architected, built failure that you planned, you should be coming out of that. So basically the takeaway is flop now, legend later. And I think that's the playbook. All right, wrapping things up. Once again, I think the real subject here is not the music. It's management. It's management of mirth, of emotion, of expectation. And she's trying to be in charge of all of it. She's not losing control. She's testing the voltage limit of her fans' loyalty. How far can she go with disappointing them until they flip? We, the media, calls it a flop because we cannot admit that we're bored. And she knows that boredom is the next currency. Her audience right now wants trauma, And she's giving him theater without wanting trauma. So what she's doing is actually giving us fans trauma by not giving us her trauma, but by creating our own trauma. So this time Taylor did not break the internet. She just proved that the internet doesn't know what to do with satisfaction. And again, not a Swiftie, but have to admit, I think right now, she's the only artist who can sell Disillusionment as a deluxe edition. Let me know what you think. What do you think about the life of Showgirl? How did you like it? How did you feel about it? Let us know in the comments. Shout out. Leave a review. That really helps. Like, share, subscribe. That helps too. Until then, stay safe. Take care. Listen to some good music. Sawadee ka.